What we'll do now, I'll get you just to share your screen again because I think
Oh, yeah.
just go back there. We'll just head back to Basecamp and yeah, so that was really good. So the only issue we have at the moment is we're just waiting for Google to verify. So that's good.
Yeah.
Actually, if you refresh that, you might actually see. I even I just uploaded the video from the first into there, so it's probably
Oh, great.
so that's more so that I can add it to when I remember to add it when I actually do the write up. But yeah, it's probably in there.
Mm,
So there you go. Only you and I can see with the
great.
link, but just so you know. Um, so if we go up on that Basecamp one again, I'll just go through. So clearly we've got through the setup. So that's just going through and revising or creating or updating the ones you already had. What we're going to go through now is essentially so those objectives were there. So, but we know that. Oh, there you go. I did use a version. I already. It's interesting. There was already a short version which you pretty much finished up using. So the planning session largely to start with, and it'll be good for you because clearly with your sites they're all pretty new. Um, Other than doing the Facebook advertising, which tends to give us a way of acquiring new following on Facebook and Instagram, particularly when
Hmm.
we're posting, an awareness type thing that doesn't really ask anything of them other than to like. And so if someone likes your post, you may have seen that you can then invite them to follow the page as well. You may well notice that because I think
Hmm.
it's also new at the moment, but that's something that we can do. What So anyway, the first part is around just connecting. Um, and inviting probably friends and family, anybody that want to business network, anybody that wants you to do well in business. Getting them so they
Hmm.
know you've now got these social pages. And that's a good way of sort of
Yep.
creating a base following, So there's no real
Yep.
need nowadays to have massive numbers. And in fact, it's quite hard and or expensive to get massive numbers following services type pages, right? So,
Yep.
10 or 12 years ago, the early pioneers could do that. And often there was little hacks that people would use to do it, right? So they'd start off, and it'd start off as Juliet, and Juliet would get lots of friends, and then Juliet would convert herself into a business, for instance, right? Nowadays, Facebook
Yeah.
doesn't
Right.
let you do that sort of thing. So essentially,
Hmm.
but as I said, if you do invite anybody that through your networks and even family and friends that would want you to do well in
Hmm.
business and may well, even though they may not use your services, they may well know people
Yep.
that would want to use your services. So it's all about that
Yeah.
word of mouth
Yep.
referral type context. So that's in terms of getting your own connections and inviting those connections, which we
Hmm.
can do on Facebook and LinkedIn. But then
Hmm.
everything else we're doing, it's B2B type connections, right? So
Yep.
it's anything that helps place you, your industry, and anybody that
Hmm.
you want to know of you, right? So, in other words,
Hmm.
education departments, schools, tertiary institutions, potentially, workplaces,
Yep.
brands, either that you have or you'd like to work with. So, I'll
Hmm.
get you started. And then there's a little bit of homework around that. So, there's stuff that you could perhaps
Yeah.
do
Great.
in downtime, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, so that's that side of things. The next part, if you scroll down a little bit further, is largely around we set up the Facebook Ads Manager, and within that, we can set up saved audiences. So that basically says, well, okay, who normally hires me for my services? Are they, they're in the education department? Are they,
Hmm.
CEOs of organizations? Do they live within a circumference around Melbourne
Hmm.
and Geelong primarily, for instance? So we create a saved audience
Hmm.
so that with any advertising that we do, we know it's going to go to the people that you want to find effectively and have find you.
Hmm.
So that's the saved audience. We create a little bit of a pixel, which I may have talked to you about um, previously, but the bit of pixel code just goes behind your Wix website. you put
Mhm.
that behind it so that it just tracks the amount of visitations, and it should marry up with um, I don't know if Pixel still would use Google Analytics, would it? Or being not a Google product, it would still have its analytics in any case. So, but what the Pixel enables me to know is how many people are visiting your website, right? So, not just as and I say me, it enables us to know that your website's being getting traffic through it, because most of our social media is done with the intent of getting their getting their eyes on a particular post. It doesn't matter which channel they're seeing it on. And then generally the call to action on those posts will be to learn more. And where you learn more is back on the website. So we're trying to bring them
Yep.
across to the website. We don't
Yep.
want them to basically stay on social media as such, right? We want them to go to the website where they can work out how to
Mhm.
book you and find out more, that sort of thing. Um, so,
Yep.
so yeah, that little bit of pixel code will create, and then if you, and we won't create the ad per se at the moment. We'll talk about that, right? So, in terms of what we generally suggest, and you can sort of see it written there, is that we kind of suggest a $5 a day campaign, whether that's an image or a video, or even we
Mhm.
can kind of make a little animation using Canva. If you don't have videos, but
Mhm.
we just make a little animation with a few of your photos and sort of making sure people know how to find out more, just because it's a little bit more lively than just
Mhm.
having a static photo. In the past, I just used to always use pretty much as the basic sort of try. We'd just use the banner image and the same cover, and we'd just have that, and we just to try and get people so they knew that it was your business, that's your icon, that's what you provide, and you, as I said, but we did over the last year or so start to just create them so they're a little bit more in a way they are a bit more addy if that makes sense. So people don't
Mhm.
technically,
Yeah.
and there's a way you can make them so that it's still not going to offend. I guess my sense was that people don't necessarily want to be sold to in their socials, but we try and
Mm.
do it in such a way that it's more about, we're trying to create the relationship, trying to create their awareness, and if they want to find out more, they can go and find out more back on the website, sort of thing. So
Mhm.
anyway, but usually the sort of post we recommend promoting, I'll do within the first week or two of advertising, and I'll feature it on your Facebook, so you don't have to. It's not something that gets created in Facebook Ads Manager, and you don't know how to find that. You can actually see that if people are
Mhm.
engaging with it, you can invite them, or we can invite them. To actually follow the page and that sort of thing as well. So that's that side of
Mhm.
things. And then the last thing we just talk about is what will we post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And again, it's not rocket science. You've got fairly clear things that we can post about. We'll have a chat
Mhm.
about what we might do there as well. So that is that. So where we probably best starting, and probably where the best opportunity for you is your LinkedIn, right? Because you've been is LinkedIn, and your personal LinkedIn is relatively inactive. So now there's probably
Mm.
so if you want to go to your LinkedIn, which is you've still got in the middle, almost there, yep. And what we can do, I don't know why we've got two. I don't know why we've got two LinkedIn. Just refresh that. It should be all good. But the one next to it, remember, was even if you click on the LinkedIn icon. There we go. Sorry, no, sorry. Back to LinkedIn. My bad. Yep, you're there now. Um, so with this, if you go click on my network, could I be surprised if other people haven't tried to connect with you? So click on my network there. Right, see what. There we go. So see, like, just go show more. These are all people that have looking to connect with you, right? Um,
Mhm.
Judging by who they are, I would suggest there's no harming. Like clinical psychologists, like these may well be people you do know. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah, yeah.
So my rule generally is, even if you don't know, have they got a picture? Are they likely to be interested? or in fact, I think I might have said this to you the other day. I don't know anybody that does what you do. So the reality is, even if they're a mortgage broker or a real estate agent, it probably still doesn't hurt to connect with them, so long as they're real people and they're within the sphere of, are they likely to know school teachers or people working education, or other people in their companies. And I would suggest you do connect
Yep.
with them. The other thing that, so on that, and that will straight away. So at the moment, I might have said to you, so yeah, with Dr. Madeline, for instance, you're just hitting accept on the right
Mhm.
hand side. Now with Karen, who I also know, I mean, Karen,
Mm.
it probably doesn't hurt to follow her LinkedIn profile writing tips, albeit that you now have got you but that's the other thing you might find. I don't follow, when I get a stack of the pages and that sort of stuff, I don't necessarily follow them all, only if they're relevant to me. So,
Mhm.
but now people have worked
Mhm.
out, which is what we're going to do. But your first challenge is to actually build your network, right? So,
Mhm.
so in the first instance, as I said, unless you don't want to connect with some of these people, and that's fine, just you can ignore them,
Mhm.
then what we need to do is just have a little mechanism for how we build your network, right? Normally, what I do is I start
Yep.
by going to the local government, which is particularly relevant in your
Mhm.
case because of
Mm.
we're talking about an Elevate grant. So we're going to connect you with the people, a few people, or at least send invites to a few people in Maribyrnong Council. So once you've done this little
Mm.
bit here, I'll just get you to go to the search, and we'll just do Maribyrnong. Yeah, there we go. Maribyrnong City Council. Yeah. And it doesn't hurt to follow Maribyrnong. It's them as well, just yourself. And then go view page and see how it's got 346 employees. Just click on 346
Mhm.
employees. So Celia Haddock's the CEO. So let's just, I want,
Mhm.
if you hit connect, it'll ask you to add a note. So just, if you can do that and just add a note down below there. Yep. And you just say, hi, Celia. Um, and just do it all the one line, because sometimes they'll only see it. Otherwise, it'll chop off your. So do it like you do a text almost, without sort of the spacing. So, hi,
Mhm.
Celia. I what was the terminology we used before? I'm the director and facilitator of mental edu- facilitator. Uh, yeah, admittedly, and I think you could probably put a full stop at the end of that, and you would just say it would be good to connect. It would be good to connect with you. Kind regards, Juliet. If you're a kind regards kind of person, warm regards, kind regards. Yeah, and then I know it might sound strange, but just copy that. You can hit send, but copy it before you hit send, maybe, because we're going to do it for a few other people as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so, yeah, just paste that into Basecamp. We'll just use this as our notes for the second part as well. So just go back to Basecamp and down the bottom. Yeah. And get rid of Celia, and so you just have hi. And then that way we can use it, and you can type in the person's name, and you're not and you don't do as I've done in the past and gone and said hi Brad when it's actually Celia, for
Put the
instance.
wrong name in.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hi.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go back to LinkedIn. And let's go. What's Sunny? No, not Sunny. Let's go. Let's see anybody in the sort of that community development, maybe HR, certainly business economic development is what I'm looking for because of the grant side of things too. So um, it's interesting who comes up for you. So two, yeah, business and activation officer. Pablo must be new, but I reckon Pablo's not a bad one to connect with. So just the one above, yeah, just do the same thing for Pablo. I reckon he must be brand spanking. And send. And so clearly, with anybody in business economic development, it's sort of their role. Um, so just because she looks a bit interesting, Laura Joe, executive leader, strategic thinker, why not? I don't know what her role was with Maribyrnong, but who knows? Hi, Laura.
Oh, Laura. Laura Joe.
Laura Joe, yeah. Um, and we'll go send on that one. I'm trying to find the ones that I'm familiar with. Scrolling down a bit further. Anthony Tran, yeah, he's the mayor. He's a nice fella. Send him. Uh, I don't know. Um, I was doing the setup before Christmas with a lady who has this toothpaste powder. And when we were doing this, she said, "Oh, I don't know, Anthony. He
Oh.
got some toothpaste powder that he used as a gift across the different councils. That was quite good."
Oh.
Um,
Well, there you go.
yeah. So, but again, they do want to support local businesses and local people. So, scrolling down, as I said, I want to if we can find Anita and or Bruce, they're the two main ones, right? So, I can't see any of them. They don't seem to be there. Joe, Cynthia, no. Jeepers. Health and well-being, probably not. What's this
Yeah, I wonder
academic
whether it's
library?
worth.
Yes, I mean, she might be worth. Kate would be worth connecting with. See,
Yeah.
in terms of if you look at what she's doing,
Mm.
and I saw another one who's training in the libraries, who's training to be a what's he say? Acting. What is his academic librarian, counselor, and psychotherapist in
Hmm.
training? Vinny. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Joe Reed. I think Joe Reed definitely is.
Mm. Now, I'm not sure why he's not coming up, but his name, if you're just doing the search,
Hmm.
Bruce,
Just,
and let me check what Bruce's surname is. Bruce Marshall. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll let you finish off that part. Bruce.
do you know which one?
Yeah,
Which
Bruce,
Bruce Marshall?
finish off writing Marshall and then just go enter maybe.
There we go.
Yeah, that's weird that it
Economic
didn't come up.
development.
Yeah, and add a note. Yeah, And the other lady that sort of is almost the convener is Anetta. I don't think Anetta uses LinkedIn, to be honest. But let's see if we can find her at least to be. So it's only one N.
Netta.
So it's one N and it's Anetta, and then it's Paze, Paze, and then it's ski. There, that's her there. There, the bottom one. She's got her own business, and I think that was probably the last time she's used this because I don't think she uses it anymore. But again, doesn't hurt probably just to send her the invite if she decides to start can start using it at some stage. That's strange because it says unable to connect with Bruce, and I wonder if that's why we couldn't find him before as well.
Mm.
Um, so the other thing is, are we connected? Just, I think we are,
I don't know.
but just close. But you weren't because I I would have thought I would normally send a because the other thing is what happens. So they're at the top. So I'm second. That's right. So let's just connect for me. See, as soon as you start getting a greater connection, then they see people like Bruce and so on become. You just go send with that one. You don't need to give me 1 second. I
Don't need to
just
send you a
don't
message.
need to send me a message. That's right. Um, where am I? Right. So yeah. So once you, it's like it reminds me. I don't know if you may well not be given my age. I'm familiar with. Did you remember hearing 5 steps from Kevin Bacon? Have you ever heard
Oh
of that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so everybody is
Yeah, yeah.
connected to Kevin Bacon within 5 steps. Well, effectively,
Yeah,
LinkedIn
yeah.
is a bit like that, right? So um, I just happen to have a lot of connections, right, on LinkedIn because I've
Yeah.
been doing it for a decade or so when I first went back and studied. But what that means, so in other words, once you
Yeah.
got your
Yeah.
first connection, so your first connections may well enable you, and let's say you finish up getting to the magical 500 plus mark, right? So 500 connections, first connections might well mean that you've got 100,000 second connections, and 100,000 second connections may well mean you've got 2 million third connections, for instance. Does that make sense? Just
Hmm.
because of how far we are from one another. So there you go. So people like Joe clearly are getting the notifications when they come through. So, but this is a good example of, and you don't need to do this immediately, but
Mm.
um, the purpose of doing this isn't simply so that we can do what I'm going to show you next, which is invite them to follow your company, right? The purpose of doing this in the
Hmm.
first place is actually to connect with people um, that hopefully you can be of service to them or they can be of service to you or whatever the case may be. Is that
Yeah.
particularly say for what I'd say if you hadn't already got a grant, right, is often when we're connecting with local government, we would say, oh, thanks for connecting. Um, I'd really love it if you could just give me a bit of the lay of the land, what's available to local business officers to make sure that I'm,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. If you're connecting, which is, so the other thing I wonder if you haven't um, got cards or it's probably emails from the people that have hired you and got you in to the various already, right? Because you haven't.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
would
Yep.
suggest that you actually go back through your. So I use this and have done probably for about 5 years now as my almost my customer resource management system. It's like, who do I know?
Yeah. Yep.
Who do I know that does
Yep.
this?
Yep.
What's their
Yep. Yep.
contact again? Who is
Yep.
that person again?
Yep.
So most
Yeah.
people, particularly uh, business owners, that's been around for a long time, have got like
Mm.
drawers full of business cards, for instance. Depending
Yeah.
on what line of work you're in. But clearly, if you've worked with business ABC any of those. You want to connect
Mm,
now with those people, and the message would change to those people too. It would be hi John or hi Mary. Are we? It was great to do that thing with you. However, whenever it was, be great to stay in touch on LinkedIn,
mm.
right? And now.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
similarly, if there is people that look like John and Mary but work for different schools or organizations, then you can
Mm.
very easily, the whole saying is your best prospects look like your existing customers. So
Yeah.
so
Yep.
go
Yep.
for the
Yep.
people that you've already done work with, and you like working with, and that you work well with, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the as I said, the challenge and the opportunity for you is really grow that network. You're very
Okay.
like I unless people aren't using LinkedIn, I would
Mm.
doubt that any would not connect with you. I would say
Yeah.
if you
Is
simply,
there
yep,
anyone? Is there a certain amount? Like is there a limit per month or whatever that you can connect with or any of the stuff?
not individually.
No.
What
Okay.
does happen is you top out at 20,000, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, right? So you can only
Yeah.
connect with 20,000. What you will find, so for instance, here somebody like, see, because we're connected now, you've got this guy. So somebody like Phil, for instance, right? So these are all part of my business network, who I kind of work with. So he does
Yeah.
IT and different things, right? So what will happen is that um, after a while, for what, particularly if we're posting and you're just even liking your own post, and then maybe in between liking some other things, which is what I'll talk to you about. But um, you'll find that people start coming to you rather than the other way around. People want to connect with you because all of a
Yeah.
sudden they've
Yeah.
seen your business or something or other. They want to connect with you. Maybe
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot where you've gone and you do a session where you're getting adult participants. If you've got adult
Yes.
participants that are there, then they're going to want to connect with you, right? So, and as I said, it may well
Yeah.
make quite a bit of sense to connect with those people on the basis of whether they get you
Yeah.
back or whether they do other things with you, that sort of thing as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
as I said, the more you connect with, the more often you're going to find that you're going to get others coming at you. But then the other thing is, more rather than just creating a list of people, essentially you might want to think about.
Mm.
So the next thing I'll show you what we can do with your existing connections, right? So that works to your limit. So if you go back to your company, so you can do that. Maybe go to you first, or you can just start typing in the search. Um, and just go profile, view my profile. There you go. Yep. And so in admin tools on the right hand side, underneath viewers member, yeah, it's got invite connections up the top. And so you can invite up to 250 people to follow your company. And LinkedIn's algorithm is much more generous now than what Facebook's is. So essentially, there's certain things you can do to help it, but essentially anybody that you're connected to, and as I said, I think your first task is grow your base. you know Even if you set yourself to
Okay.
try and grow 50 a month, or try and be
Okay. And that's
250,
on my
that's your
personal.
personal one, right? So that's just like giving
Okay.
someone your business card, effectively.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And remember, this is public profile stuff. So really, by
Mhm.
doing that, you're not giving them the keys to anything, or they're not having a
Mhm.
peek into your life. All they're doing is pretty much seeing your CV and the description of
Mhm.
who and what you do, right? So effectively, it is your professional
Mhm.
you. It has some similarities to Facebook, but it's about professional public information, pretty much, right? Um, and
Mhm.
so yeah, anybody that you've got there, you can invite them. As I said, the first challenge, I'll probably invite some because being an admin, I can invite a few on there as well. But
Mhm.
it's not very, I it's not very powerful coming from me, right? So
Yeah.
if I invite some of my network to follow it, the reality is it may well not be as relevant, but
Yep.
also it's like, oh, here's Steve uh, asking people to follow another business that he's involved with. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
better that
Yep.
you grow your following first, and then you invite them along. So um,
So how many credits refill? It's
yeah,
250 a
yeah.
month.
So you get it. That's right, 250 a month. So
Okay.
I think because, as I said, the only reason clearly that you haven't got a large network at the moment is you probably just haven't been using it, right? Because
Yeah, I haven't been, and I had a whole lot of people trying to friend me at a time
mm,
where I was just like, "Oh, bugger off. Why did I
mm,
set this thing up?"
yeah, true. So that's okay. And look, now you're kind of ready. And as I said, there's all those people will probably start to come back if they then see that you're, yeah,
Yeah.
at some point. So but yeah, nothing to be too worried about if people come at you to connect, except if they're
Yeah.
coming and let's say they're a marketing company from Kazakhstan. Well, then don't connect. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
feel like you're
Yeah.
being sold to or whatever the case might be, then you don't have to
Yeah.
connect with people, right? So, um,
Yeah.
but as I said, use it as a tool for getting the word out um, of what you
Mhm.
do and who you do it for, sort of thing, realistically. And it's just
Yeah.
like, as I said, it's just giving people capacity to know what you do, realistically. So,
Yep.
um, and yeah, so I reckon it's probably going to be the most powerful thing that you'll have, given what you do and where you
Mhm.
do it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think LinkedIn is likely to be where certainly ongoing, it's probably the greatest opportunity for you, even more so than
Okay.
than advertising, right? So I think that the
Yeah, yeah,
reality is
interesting. Yeah,
that
I get that.
direct and personal approach that you could take, if you
Yeah.
went through, clearly the opportunity for you to say is, well, and I don't know if this is exactly right, but you'll get the point, you know, if you've I've recently spoke to the parents, provided the course to the parents of Yarraville Primary School. I wonder if Footscray Primary School would be interested in a similar
Mm.
program. So that would be a
Yeah,
very easy
yeah,
conversation. And
yeah,
again, that's not to say it's exactly what you would do, but you get the
yeah,
point, right? Is that you've got examples that you can say what you've done for
yeah,
somebody else. So you just find somebody that looks like those
yeah,
people elsewhere, and whether that's business,
yeah,
school,
yeah,
tertiary, and do the same thing. You
yeah,
know. Um,
yeah.
but as I said, I like to use a softly, softly. I think the opportunity for you at the moment is build that network, and
Mhm.
you don't within 24 hours go at them. You don't sort of within 24 hours of them connecting with you go and say, hey, great, here's my course. I would sort of do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would make a note is, even if it's once a fortnight, once a month, whatever it might well be, what
Mm,
works easiest for you if you've got, on downtime sort of thing, is to go,
mm,
hey, I wonder if that person from X, Y, whatever it is, has connected with me. I'll go and have a look, and then
mhm.
I'll systematically go to those people and say, "Hey, thanks for connecting. Listen, is there, uh, what's the opportunities look like potentially in your organisation to do what I do?" You know,
Yeah,
as I said, if
yeah,
you use a personal and direct approach like that, you're likely to do really well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
and they're more likely to see it than the old emailer type thing as well. That's the other thing, right?
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
But
Yeah.
but having
Okay.
said that, with just about all the socials, you generally do want to ultimately get them across from LinkedIn onto email. Hey, great, thanks. It's been good
Yeah,
to
yeah,
connect. I'll send you my details via the email. Is this the best email for you? So
yeah,
ultimately, it doesn't matter what it is. Ultimately, the conversations are probably going to happen back on the traditional ones, but it's a good way to
yeah,
kick
yeah,
things off. It's a nice, warm way to get started. Um,
yeah. Okay.
so we can do so clearly you can invite those people back to the company. If you just close this, I'll just show you. I do let people know in reports around this, but if you go to your home, so if you just actually if you click back on LinkedIn on the yeah here, so basically when we start posting, which we'll do from, I'll probably get things set up, but probably from Monday next week, you'll start to have posts going out. So what you could be doing, and I would suggest, again, this isn't homework for you to have to do every day, but it is something you could do.
Mm,
Remembering everything's about feed, right? So in between, if you might see that Marie might be somebody you like, and she puts something out saying Happy New Year, you might give that some sort of reaction. understanding that if you give it a heart, LinkedIn knows that requires greater effort. So you can give likes, but to your own stuff and to stuff you really like, give it a heart or a wow or something like that, because they know it
Yeah.
takes greater effort and it's likely
Okay.
to spread the tentacles further. So
Okay.
Steve then sees in his news feed, because I'm connected with you, certain ones I might see Juliet hearted reacted to this from Maria. Similarly, if there's businesses that you
Mm.
follow. So, in other words, if you do it to your own business and you do it to something Maribyrnong
Mm.
Council has posted, it helps spread the tentacles. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yep.
and that's why LinkedIn's algorithm is actually quite good, particularly for a business like yours where it is a professional service into professional
Mm.
businesses. Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
So,
Okay.
um, having said that, it works exactly the same on Facebook, but it's just not the same audience, right? So clearly, when
Because it's
here,
business to business a bit more
yeah.
with
So when that's right. So
LinkedIn.
whereas Facebook, we're more about our friends and family. That's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
It's been
Yep.
invaded by businesses and marketers and all that sort of thing,
Mm.
but it doesn't mean
Mm.
that it's So again, it's just how we use them. If
Yep.
you then so that's it. You're okay with that side of things from LinkedIn?
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
Makes sense.
So let's go to Facebook and I'll
So
just
I've
show
got to
you.
connect with people first on my personal to then link them to my
Correct.
business. Is that
That's
the
right. So once you're
general?
connected to
Okay,
people, you can
right.
invite them to follow. Yeah. And look, I think the
Okay.
advantage is remembering that you're still a powerful version of your brand, realistically. So clearly, that's the main thing anyway, is
Yes.
that we
Yep. Yep.
want
Yep.
them. Um,
Yeah.
but I should say as well, that's a relatively new innovation. It's probably 18 months to 2 years that you've been able to invite people to company. You couldn't do that in the past. So it's not
Yeah.
like you've
Okay.
missed the party
Okay.
on LinkedIn invitation to
Yeah, I'm
company.
not that behind the eight ball.
No.
Yeah. Great.
So it was
Okay.
relatively new. And as I said, the most powerful thing on LinkedIn is you anyway. So yeah, that's okay.
Mm.
Um, then let's go to Facebook, and I'll just show you the same thing that we can do from a direct side of things, where we can invite some people. I do want you to invite probably relevant people to your page. So, firstly, you should like your page on the right hand side next to message. Yeah, give it a like. And then the three dots underneath search, invite friends. And as I said, you probably can be selective here. You don't necessarily want to invite every friend necessarily. The toothpaste lady had a lot of friends. She invited everybody, right? But then she just figures that, well, they may as well be trying her tooth powder. You know what I mean? So there,
Yeah. No, I'm pretty happy, I think, to invite everyone there.
yeah. So then, if you are, then the easy, and the reality is they're not going to all necessarily follow it, but given they are
Mm.
probably close friends and family, they also may well.
Yep.
The majority may. So it's a great way of building that visibility straight away, right? Um, so you can
Mm-hmm.
go select all on the right, on the top right. Actually, I wonder whether it'll let 229 go. It may. Yeah. So then we hit send. Invitation sent. Awesome. Very quick. Now people are going to get to see your page. It'll build our following, particularly given once we start posting. But at least they'll see there's a couple of posts straight away, which generally speaking, they're not people don't go to your page to actually view your page, because often, anyway, yeah. The reality is that's good that you've been able to do that. That'll give us a bit of impetus straight away. Um, so for the other ones, or actually before we do the other ones, if you go to on the left hand side, actually in the where it's got switch now, it's got switch into Mental Health Education Victoria's page to start managing it. In the middle, underneath the three dots, it's got switch now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it. And then think on the left-hand side, just um, yeah, scroll down and see if it's got news feed on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, underneath home and everything. Keep going down, or is that the bottom? Okay,
That's
annoying.
it.
Okay, can't see it. Um, Go back to home up the top. Maybe we need to say manage. Thought we were already managing the page, but see how it's got manage above edit?
Yeah.
Just
Here.
click on that manage there. Yep. And then scroll down to the middle part. Scroll down the middle area. Newsfeed, just in the bottom. So scroll down there. Just go view newsfeed. So there's a few things by the looks. If you scroll down, so it looks like you've followed Victorian Parents Council. And there's a few things that are suggested for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
but it's it's worth following others. You can do it on here, just in terms of, just by way of example. You can do me if at the top left, as in Diffy Social, go search Facebook. Some people have their settings so that you can't. So council you can't. So Diffy space social. Yeah. And because you're in as your company, you're liking that as the company, right? So similarly
Mhm.
for so if you um, go in the search again and do is there a government department, so like Vic Health or something, or what is there?
Yeah.
What's the most, or would it be the Department of Education?
Um. Yeah. Probably the health.
There it is, Victorian
We
Department of
both.
Health. Now I don't know with their settings. That's the only thing. So you can follow it. Um,
Mm.
Actually, some of those other ones potentially. I don't know. So I don't know if there's anything relevant as well in there. Usually, it will give you some suggestions. So there's the Royal Children's. Was that relevant?
Yeah. Yep.
Northern Health. Um, Positive Women Victoria.
Mm.
So what it'll start doing is it'll often start suggesting things that are kind of relevant to you, both
Relevant. Yeah. Yeah.
from an area as well as in a location, as well as your
Yeah. Right.
education department. It doesn't look like ours, does it? So Department of Education Victoria. Just click on Department of Education Victoria up the top. If you go, yeah. So it already is. Sometimes with these pages, you get the three dots on the right, and it'll actually say like as your page, but you're already in as your page. So hence it doesn't say it
Mm.
along those lines. But that's the other way you can do it, is you actually go to the page and it'll actually ask you whether you want to like or follow the particular page as well. And then that will put it into your news feed. So um, because of the way we're doing it, it's probably not as relevant on Facebook, but it is another thing
Mhm.
that you can do, right? So it doesn't hurt. It's more relevant probably on the
Mhm.
Instagram and Twitter that we do the B2B. Most people can't find their news feed on Facebook
Yes.
anymore.
Right.
So, but again, it's that
Yeah.
if you are
Yeah.
in your news feed, you can actually be social, because if you see something that the Department of Education has posted and it's in your news feed, well, then you might comment or like, for instance, the stuff that they've put out, and it's a
Mhm.
good way of getting their attention, which means they
Mm.
might then look into what you
Yeah.
do and
Right.
who you are. So
Yes. Right.
let's go to Instagram where you actually do have a reasonable following already, which is interesting. So if you click on your 114 following that you're sorry, you've got
Who
104
I'm following
who are
or
your
who's
following. Yeah,
following me?
actually, yeah, go to your 114 following first, just so I can sort of because you must have done a little bit of thought around that,
Who
yeah,
I'm following?
yeah.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
So let's now using that because that's a bit of work that you've done there. That's good, right? So if you do the same thing, so if you scroll to the bottom, did you go to the when you sort of looked at what was available? Did you sort of go and see who they were following and use that as a way of following others?
Yes, a little bit
Yeah,
of that.
Vic
A little
Health,
bit
for
of that.
instance, that's
Yep.
sort of one. Yeah. So let's do the same thing on Twitter because, as I said, you've already done the groundwork on this one. Um, so if we go to Twitter and then maybe flick back to here to remind yourself who it was that you're actually following. So yeah, so search Twitter up the top right, and was Vic Health one of the ones you had? I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what was so where it's got Vic Health? So what you can do is then where it's got 1,223 that they're following on the left hand side. Yeah. So it may well be that there's some things in here that you might want to just go follow, follow, follow.
Mm, yeah.
And again, with Twitter, you can follow up to 2,000 things before you need to have a parity. So effectively, you just need to have a similar amount following. That's all.
Oh, yeah, right.
Actually, can you do me a favor? In the search, there's
Mm,
someone who I work with who it would be good for you to know, and I should have connected you on LinkedIn. As I said, we were going to do Yoss as
mm,
well. So, but do Paul Spinks. Type in Paul
mm.
Spinks. He's a keynote speaker, like 20 plus year paramedic, and he talks about there he is, the wake up call there. So if you click on him and give him a follow, um, and we'll ensure that he follows you back. But just see, he does a lot of talks to the corporate type talks through agents often.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so you can see. So he's got the 50. No, he's actually I think he may well be his agent in the first place that was actually pretty key to following a lot of these ones. But yeah, you could see who
Mm,
he was following. It may be more the corporate type ones, but
mm,
yeah. So again, it's just somebody that it would be good. As I said, it's good probably for him to know you as much as for you to know him. But he's still a paramedic up there in northern Queensland. But then I came and he was
mm.
speaking to the whole like body corporate association of Victoria. It was like, well, that sort of thing.
Ah,
There
yeah,
was hundreds in
right.
the room,
Yeah,
so it was a
right.
pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so again with Twitter, like you've done with Instagram,
Yeah, go
anybody
through
that's
and
relevant. And again,
yep, yep.
so in this case, it's business to business typically. I mean, it might be thought leaders, but it's typically going to be associations, businesses,
Yeah, yeah.
people you've worked with before, people you'd like to work with.
Yeah.
industry information that's available that you use yourself, suppliers, that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
again, anybody that you would like to know of you, um, on the basis that
Yep.
you've already seen that if you do that, clearly people, um, I think you do get that knock-on effect. I can only think that with Instagram is because of your name. I think people, when they're doing
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
when they're probably doing a thing around mental health in Victoria, and who are the resources, you're coming up.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
should also happen
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Twitter as well. Okay, so that's so they're the four things where we can build followings. I guess the one I don't often show, but it is something that might be relevant. Is there anything that you do? Do Department of Education or Health put out any YouTube um, information, or is there anybody you go to get information from YouTube?
No, like I've got like mental health first aid put out promotional videos. So that's probably something that I'd put on my
Yeah.
YouTube.
So maybe let's see if they've got a YouTube channel then. So if we go
They
to
should.
YouTube and just do search for mental health first aid. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's them there.
Yeah, so if we and it doesn't hurt to then subscribe to them, right? So that basically you then get a notification that they've put something out new, for instance. And clearly another way of so that's had quite a few views from 2 months ago, that sort of thing. And clearly it's just for your own interest as
Mm.
much as anything else too, right? So but anything that is your
Yeah.
real core that is worth following, it's worth doing it on.
Mm.
And again, by following them, they do get a sense of actually who's watching this stuff, right? So following and
Yeah.
being
And I can repost
yeah,
this
potentially, yeah.
stuff now.
Yeah, yeah. You can
Yeah.
reshare. There is ways you can actually download, but it bit of effort. That's the
Reshare.
only thing. The free downloaders. It's,
Yeah.
but often, yeah, you can certainly
Mm.
reshare them
Mm.
just natively, as in that you just share with the YouTube link. So that'd be something that if you wanted posted, you might, you know, you might choose to do for instance, I don't know how relevant they are, like, and how often they come out, but you could do a post from others. If you wanted something to be shared, just let me know. I can share it from others as well. That's the other thing. If there's particular things that come
Yeah,
through.
okay. Yeah.
Um,
Because
I
I have added in yeah, there is some of these ones that I've used in that promotional sort of sense that have been really relevant.
cool. Okay. Um, all right. So that's the connecting side of things. So let's go now
Yep.
to I think you've got a few of the Meta businesses open, but let's go to the one that's next to the Facebook icon. So we'll just go to the Facebook Ads Manager, I think is next. So let's go to the next one over. Excuse me, the next Meta tab over. Yeah, and it's not even this one. Actually, this one we probably might have to come back to, but I reckon go to the next one. So that's the one. There you go. They're all actually okay to have open, but I reckon it'll be here. And then underneath pages, it's got ad accounts. And I don't imagine you've had an ad account previously, right? Because you've
Mm,
never you've never done any ads or anything, any boosts or anything, right? At this stage, is
no.
that correct? You've
No,
you've
yeah,
not
no.
advertised anything. So let's add an ad account. So you just click on
Yeah,
that little button
no.
and scroll down. Instead of so yeah, sorry, just close that. If we just get it a little bit, just close that box because we're going to need to and scroll down on the page if you can. We actually need to create an ad account rather than add an ad account. There we are. Create a new ad account. It's the bottom
Oh,
one.
create.
See how it's
Okay.
it's hard to get on that thing there. That's it. Rightio. And we're going
Mhm.
to yeah, we just seem low on the page. Is there a way of getting that sidebar on the right
I
a little
don't
bit?
know what's wrong. There we go.
Yeah. Um, Cool. So we're going to call it Mental Health Education Victoria. Yeah. And time zone is the I think we're all the way at the bottom. And then currency, we're all the way at the top. Yep. And it's for the business. And put us both on the ad side of things and manage ad account. Uh, so what? Maybe just copy that where it says the number and that it's been created. Just copy and paste that number and put that into Basecamp for us. And then it's the one next to Instagram. Yep. And so probably best. Are you able to add a credit card in there
I don't
now?
have. Oh, I don't have my. I don't have any on me.
It's
I
okay.
know that
So
sounds
what
silly. I
you
just
should
didn't
be
think I'd
able
need
to
one.
we should be able to just close that. What I get you to do is I think we can do everything without it added in there. Just copy ad accounts. Actually, sits in billing. What just happened where mental health close ad accounts? Oh yeah. So on the right hand side, where there's a little it says open in ads manager and there's a little drop down arrow on the right hand side, far right, on the right. Yeah, that's the one. And then see what the you view payment methods. Just click on that, and then I would just copy the URL up above and just make a note. That's where you'd put it in for later. So yeah, copy that ID. You probably don't need everything after the 004, but paste it first, and then just call it billing. Yeah, see how it's quite long. You probably can get rid of the. So actually, keep that. No, keep it. Sorry, before you get rid of that part, see how the second part says it's got another number and it's got 1926. Yeah, keep that part probably. Yeah, and just get rid of the rest of it. And that so once that becomes a hyperlink, you should be able to. I'll put it in the write up so you know as well.
Okay.
So it just means when you're ready, you can put that in. Um, so the next, as you scroll down on this part, is this what's this doing here? Just scroll down a little bit in the middle of this page. Just go
That's
edit.
as low as I can go. Edit.
Yes, just go edit where it says business info because it should have put your ABN in there as well. So I'll put your business name in and just that sidebar might need to get us down a bit. Yep. Um, yep. So
ABN.
ABN, you probably do need to put a mailing address as well.
The only other thing I can do is I can probably link it to my PayPal now and then change the details later if we need to.
Yeah, it's up to you. Um, if you think you may, yeah, I mean, it's not going to stop us doing anything for this second
Okay.
for this time being. So,
All
because
right.
as I said, well, I'm not planning to advertise from tomorrow or anything. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
just go back in there when you can. Yep, and so this is we already copied that top URL, didn't we? So let's while we're in this little part. So this is actually the part it's good to be in. So then the hamburger underneath the house on the left hand side. Yeah, and let's go. Um, if you click on Ads Manager, we'll just get that URL. So yeah, click on that one, and you just say no. Oh, sorry, but I accept. Yeah, and see at the top, it's got does your business focus on politics or anything? You just say no. Excuse me, and you can just copy the URL up above, and that's actually your Ads Manager. So that's where I go in and create ads. And as I said, when I go and create, I just use an existing post that's already been posted so that you kind of know where it is. Again, you could probably get rid of the part where it says 196 and then it's got and tool manager, get rid of that stuff there. But I always think if it's got a number, it could be relevant. So there you go. Then we'll go back to, yep. And then in here, we're just going to go the hamburger again on the left hand side. Yep. And then we'll just get that bit of pixel, which is events manager next to audiences. And we're going to go connect data. There we go. And just go web and connect. And just call it 2023. Um, and then go, yeah, mental health education Victoria. And just go create pixel. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. And then copy and paste the website. And just take off the integrate with Google Tag Manager. Just unclick that and go next. And just go metapixel only. And next again. All right, so that's created. I don't want you to do it again because sometimes what it does, it's already found one. So then on the left-hand side, go back to your the three lines up the top. Yeah, and let's click on Ads Manager, and then I want you to click back to Events Manager because I want to refresh this page because what I've what's happened the last two times I've done this, we've finished up creating two pixels. So um, yeah, so that's that. Then go back to the hamburger when it shows. Um, there you go. See how weird that is? Anyway, now it's there. So on the right hand side, it's got click on your hyperlink where it's that one there is fine. Yep. Or that one. Yep. Okay. So now scroll down a little bit on this page. So got anything else there? There we go. Continue pixel setup and go metapixel and go email instructions. You can send yourself an email, um, but we're going to copy and paste this stuff. So info at. Did I
So
ask
should
you?
I
Do you
copy
have
and
any?
paste it or should I email?
Yeah, you could just copy it. So just copy. Firstly, copy the Pixel ID details. See where it's got Pixel ID 8475. That blue bit of writing. Facebook Pixel ID. Yep, that's it. I think we've got a slight lag, so apologies if I'm telling you to do things you've already done.
No, that's all.
Um,
That's all right.
then back to and then or wherever it is, the suitcase next to it. Yep. Then scroll down. So that pixel code is actually there's about 12 lines or 15 lines. You just need to copy it from the top to the bottom, that bit of code, and paste that into Basecamp as well. Yeah. Um, Now, depending again, if you have trouble with that, so you could, if you don't want to email it, you can just close that now. So that's all you were wanting to send. That's all you were wanting to get. Um, and so I'll write it up. So that pixel's been created. It just hasn't been set up, but that's something you'd have to navigate through your Wix to do. Is that so? Again, I don't. Uh, yeah, it's not my sort of bag, but it may well be something you could speak to Yoss about too. That's the other thing. If
Okay.
when you talk to him about ads, because so let's go to LinkedIn. Let's just connect with Yoss. You can do the same message, or you just say, so I'll just find him so that if you do Yoss William, um, it actually looks like it's coming up pretty quick. Yeah. And let's do so. Actually, it's good that we get an example like this. So we don't want to follow Yoss. We want to click on his profile up the top, view full profile. So if you do get ones like this where for some reason you can't immediately connect with them, you open the profile and then it's got more next to message in the middle down the bottom. Yeah, and it should have then connect. So click on connect and then you can do your message. Add a note. And again, you just might say, "Hi, Julie." Oh, yeah, you better not send him the code yet. Um, uh, Hi, Yos. Uh, you might just say it would be good to connect, or you could say, "Look, I'm yeah." Maybe before you could just say, "I'm doing some work with Steve," or and then say, just so there's some context. I'm doing some work with Steve. And you could even then say, and he suggested it would be good to connect.
Mm.
Yep. Um, yep. So cool. I'm only thinking that if you then so you talk to him about the using that ad credit, but then if you get stuck with putting that code behind the website with the Wix website, see if that's something
Mhm.
if he's got knowledge and can help with. It's actually because the metapixel is one thing. He may well be able to add whatever the other thing it was talking about. There's a Google tag or something or other, which is slightly different again. So, um, but as I said, just if you get tagged, I can um, I'll send you a little note and I'll let him know that that's what you want to talk to, but I won't necessarily let him know unless, yeah, wait and see how you go with adding that pixel in the first place. If you have trouble, then let me know. But
Okay.
if you get it on okay, well then we don't have to worry. So
So I need to try and find out how to add the pixel onto my Wix. Is that
true, that's right. So the
in
instruction.
a
So
nutshell?
when you go behind your Wix, it should be. It's a
Mm,
bit like adding the icons and that sort of stuff. So when I do the write up, I'll let you know what it would be good to get back on Wix.
okay.
But yeah, I'm assuming when you're in your Wix, which you've got there, right?
Mm,
I'm just I have a guy that helps me. I can go in and update my WordPress website, but there's certain things I
yeah.
can do and there's certain things I can't do really. SEO marketing, traffic. So see where it's got. I wonder if it's something like it would be a developer tool. What you could do is put you could search maybe. Could you on the top uh, um, and search for adding add Facebook pixel or just write Facebook pixel.
Facebook pixel marketing integrations.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Connect to Facebook. That should be okay. So, oh, you need to connect to Juliet in the first place. That's okay. Yeah, you should be in like that. So on the right, does it say, you know, I wonder if it was just because of, see on the bottom here, it's got your, so I think we've already got your domain verified on Facebook. It's just at the bottom, it's got choose events to track and add them to your site, recommended Wix instructions, then follow Wix instructions to add them to your site. See, and the
Mm-hmm.
third point, it talks about Wix instructions.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. So tracking events in Wix. Yeah. So events. So when it talks about events, it's talking about so select Facebook will automatically choose them. So essentially, it's talking about pages, right? So events. So
mm.
Facebook calls the pixel says flares, right? So but basically, it tells us you've had 200 flares to your website this month. Essentially, that just means it's gone. You've
Mm-hmm.
had maybe 50 visitors go to 4 different pages, for instance, right? So flares as visitors, yeah. But
Right.
again, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how to add it to WordPress, let alone Wix. So I might have to leave you with that one.
Yeah, that's all right.
But you've copied and pasted the pixel, so
Yep.
that's all you'll need to. Usually, it's just a matter of, from my understanding, is finding the section where you need to put it in, and you just paste that bit of
Yeah,
code into
yeah,
the
yeah, I get
section
that.
that goes behind the website. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just not something that I'm used to looking at. That's all. So, but it looks like,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
yeah, it looks like there's enough there that you should be able to see even things. You got other things like the visitor analytics anyway, or Google Analytics. Google Analytics is already connected, which is good. Yeah. So let's continue on if that's okay.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
I want to just look at um, so go back to our little suitcase, which is next to Instagram. And the last thing I want to do around Ads Manager is just create a saved audience. So go to your little hamburger underneath the house. Yep. And go to audiences underneath Events Manager. And scroll to the bottom. We're going to create a saved audience. That's the one. And we can just call it again 2023 MHEV. And underneath the address where it says, I'm sorry, no, we will go below. We won't do custom. So just click away and go down to locations. Yeah, so underneath it's got include. So we could do, oh yeah, so above that, oh yeah, it's got include, and you just go search locations, and we'll just put in a street address. You can use, you know, a Yarraville street address, for instance, just so it gives us
Yeah, I'll just
someone.
use my own street address.
Yeah, it'll probably come up as Tongue Street, Melbourne. But what do we got?
No, can I just use a school? Is that the
Yeah,
easiest?
use
Oh,
the
I'll just put
school. That's fine.
Yarraville.
Yeah,
Oh, it's just got Yarraville, Victoria.
yeah. Do it as a
Or should we try and use a...
Actually, suburb might be okay. Let's see, but sometimes it might not let you have the perimeter around it. Just try. You see how it doesn't give us it just gives us a spot location rather than a
Yeah, okay.
so maybe what you said before was a better idea, the community center or a school.
Yeah, okay.
Even the city of Maribyrnong is actually, so Yarraville Community Centre is will work. And see how we can do plus.
Yeah, yeah.
So we could probably do. We might as well take in the whole. It'll make the distance, but for you, you probably might as well at least want to get to Melton. So maybe do you, or actually 30?
Yep.
Okay, and then enter. And probably just get rid of the Yarraville by itself. You probably don't need that highlighter. Just cross that. Yeah. Um, I don't think it stuck with you. Do you want to put in Geelong and Bendigo? Oh, sorry, Geelong and Ballarat as well. Oh, yeah, I'll let you do this first.
That reverted. Oh, it keeps reverting. There we
Did you want to add, or do we want to just? Because the other thing is you can do is you could do a whole of Victoria, but it's probably worth knowing where if 80% is coming from Melbourne, Geelong, Ballarat, for instance, then you're
go.
probably better off starting with that and having a secondary
Yep.
audience that just does all of Victoria. So,
Yeah.
so the age of people that are likely. I say, did you want to add Geelong or Ballarat first? I guess is the other question.
Yeah, so do we add that as a second
Yeah,
location?
that's right. Yeah, so you put in Geelong, and again, just pick up on Geelong Civic Centre or Geelong did it that time. See how it did the city, so you can. That's probably okay to
Yeah.
be 40
Okay.
because it just connects the dots,
Yeah,
then,
another
doesn't it?
140. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said Ballarat's the other one, and Ballarat probably be similar. You so the city, yeah, and that sort of brings it to there. And is that maybe for now, if that's where sort of 80% or so of your works come from, and I don't know if that's the case, but maybe that's an okay geographic to start with.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
that's fine.
the
Yep.
age, from an age wise, in terms of, um, are we talking more people that are graduated that are probably going to be looking at this, or are you talking about anyone from
Yeah.
18? What do you think?
I'd say 2022 would be the minimum.
Okay, let's go with, yep.
Because I'm just trying to think about the tertiary students. But yeah, the age range is relatively broad.
Yeah. So we won't have an upper age, is that right? Because that I guess is still
Yeah. No.
and
Yeah.
then let's go into scrolling down. I think the obvious one to start with is just where it's got interests, detailed targeting. You just write mental health.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's a job title, which is interesting. Yeah, so let's click
Do I
on
have to?
those because then it's interesting whether we do. So you can mental health, healthcare and medical services as a demographic, but yeah, so mental health worker up the top. A lot of mental health workers aren't going to be doing what you're doing, are they?
Mm,
It's a very small field, though. Just
no.
just click on those because that's
Yeah.
global, right? I would click on those because it'll help Facebook work out who you're trying to find. So I would click on the top one and the second top one. So if you type in mental health again, oh, mental health specialist is coming up. Was that? Um, it's not
Yeah,
mental health
what came
nursing,
up
is
when
it?
I.
Really? So just how it did come up with mental health,
No.
health and no. Um, let's go with well-being. Or try actually. Does
And the other thing is, like, if it's who we're trying, is it what people are going to search, or is it people who are of a particular profession?
well, I think the thing is that in your case, no, realistically, it's there's twofold, right? So really, you're wanting largely, I imagine, school. I mean, maybe school principal is somebody that you would have,
Yeah, so it'd be school principals or like HR
or P&C, maybe
departments.
even parents and citizens. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Try a school principal.
Mm, mm,
Just put in school principal and see how that goes, because that's your target in terms of who you'd like to see.
yeah.
High school, yeah, go high
Yeah,
school,
high school
elementary school,
principal.
middle schools. What you can do is click on suggestions. So see, it's got suggestions on
Or
the
just
right
put
hand
primary and
side.
secondary indication.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, no. So that's yeah. So mental health
Yeah.
practitioner. That probably doesn't hurt to have mental health practitioner, because if they're searching for that
Yeah.
sort of person,
How many can we click on?
yeah, as many as you like. It's not limited. Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
So, except that, so on the one hand, you've got them looking, potentially searching for a particular type, but then you've got the people that you're
Mm.
looking for. So the idea is that,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so
yeah.
so the thing is, in the main, Google is about people finding you because of key terms, right? Whereas in Facebook, we're trying to find
Mm.
your people because of what they've shared or added to their profiles, or they, because Facebook owns clearly Facebook and Instagram, but also Messenger and WhatsApp. So clearly, if I
Yeah,
say,
okay.
geez, I'm struggling at the moment mentally or whatever, with I'm talking to a friend, Facebook knows that,
Mm,
right? If
mm.
that makes sense, right? So, or I'm
Yeah.
worried about my mental
Yeah, it
health at
does,
the
yep.
moment. Who knows if they're even listening at the moment as I say it, right? So, um, there's that
Yeah.
element of like how they can capture information.
Yeah, right.
Tertiary or university?
Yeah, I do need to put in probably tertiary university. They don't have human relations if I put in human relations. Oops. Mm, Um, nothing. Unless I'm not spelling it right.
What about type university?
University.
There you go. University, what? University,
Mm,
because we don't want them to be interested in university because everybody on the globe's interested in that. So it's
I
university,
know.
is it lecturer or university? It's not even lecturer, probably
Yeah.
it's more university, dean, dean of university,
Yep. Mm. No, there's not much that comes up.
no. Um, Try CEO, chief executive officer.
Mm.
No.
No, why is it
Chief
bringing up strange
executive.
things?
Yeah, I don't know. CIE. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't like certain titles nowadays. Director, board of
Board of
directors,
directors?
maybe. Probably company director, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, just keep coming on this board of directors.
Let's do let's do first aid.
Mm. Even that comes up as first aid kit, first aid beauty, first aid.
Yeah, try first aid kit. Let's go with that. Your Even though it doesn't have to be directly what you do or provide, so it's already there. So you don't have to write kit. Just click
Mm.
on it. Yeah. Um, the it sort of just needs to be aligned,
How
with
is
what.
human relations not in there? Oh, human resources. Human resources. Director of Human Resources.
I don't
Yes,
think
that'll do me.
nowadays
What
they
else do I
call it.
have?
Most of them, human resources used to be the term. Now they call it people and culture, don't they? A lot of them. I know.
Yeah, yeah, there's all this sort of people
Yeah,
and culture. It's true. Let's
it's
see if we
it's
can
actually
find that.
had something there that said professionals in human resources.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Okay, oh, that's yeah. I'd say professionals in human resources.
yeah, it had it specifically, and now it's talking about birthdays. Um,
Oh my gosh.
it's very
Let's just
clunky.
put
Get
in
rid of it
human
and just click
resources
on
again.
suggestions again.
It's
Oh, actually, here we go. Yeah, scroll down.
professional in human resources, that one.
Oh, that's
Or
it. Yeah,
HR consultant.
yeah, and HR can. Yeah, so you've got both of
Yeah, once you
those.
click on something, then it disappears. It's so annoying.
I think when you Yeah, I think it clicks when you click on it, it should put it up the top though, and then it just makes you once you then to click on suggestions again.
Mm.
That one's fine. Human resource management, business and finance. Yeah. Um, let's
Mm.
see how big this audience is out of
Hmm.
interest. If you scroll up to the top on the right hand side,
So create saved
not
audience.
yet. Just
Oh, you
just
just yeah.
scroll up. I just want to see how big this is. 148. So it's not massive, which is about. I kind of probably for us for now. I'm actually Yeah, I'm not unhappy with that sort of size. That's probably about right as of just
Okay.
yeah. So let's go create saved audience, and if it, there you go, just close it now. That's it. Um, and so let's just click on that hyperlink where it says 2023 MHEV in the middle, name underneath name, yeah, and then just copy that on the right hand side. Just copy that from the top to the bottom, just so we kind of got what we've put in there. Yeah. And then paste that back into Basecamp. Yep, underneath all the rest. And now, right, so 3:35. Let's go 10 more minutes. Is that okay? You all
Yep.
good,
Yep.
time wise?
Yep.
Let's go to your website. And what we've got is in terms of what information is available to us, right? So clearly, the way your website's been done is those top elements. So the home actually, if you go down far enough, I finish up coming to about and to services. Is that right? So when we go home and you scroll down on this
Yep.
page, to start with, I do like the fact that your sorry, just scroll down slowly. In actual fact, if where you've got so up the top, so the people I don't know, I can go down with you actually. So the engage, empower, so engage, educate, empower. um,
Mhm.
um, so clearly that's almost your positioning, right, in a way, that engage, educate, empower. So I will use that as a bit as well. So then you kind of, so the first thing really is you talk about your services. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking Mondays is probably going to speak to services, right? So we can probably write and just
Mhm.
pick the service that we're going to talk about each time. So if you but if we go into, if I click on, sorry, I'm just looking at it on my screen as well. So I'm going to go to workplaces and I go
Yeah. Yeah.
read more. Okay. So then there's quite a bit in there once you get in there, right? So I'm going to go this way, right?
Mm.
So I reckon just for now, while we're sort of a little bit limited on how much content we've got available,
Mhm.
I think if we go home is a really good overview, right? So Mondays I'll probably
Mhm.
just talk about home is about what we have. So you could probably write this in Basecamp if you like, because there's plenty of things to take away from the homepage without going sort of really drilling down into it. Um,
Mhm.
so we'll go home. Um, Wednesdays it'll be services. Got one, two, three, four different services. So, and even once I click on workplaces, even within workplaces, there's probably at least a good four things in each one of those, right? So, and then on on Fridays we'll talk about, which is about the business and about you really. Um, and then it does go into mental health first aid, but I think that's probably elsewhere as well. So really about so normally on Fridays, what I'd like to try and get to is if hopefully we start to get a few coming in. It's about it's about sort of MHEV and then it's about Juliet. So that's two things, right? So it's
Mhm.
about both, but also hopefully we can start building some reviews and testimony, right? And clearly,
Yes. Yeah.
clearly, if you so we'll have a link to get those once we have that Google Business verified. Um,
Yeah. And I've already got some testimonials because I have to do structured feedback after each course. So I've already
yeah.
got stuff from that that I could use.
Well, if you're able to, that would really. So if you're able to, I don't know where
Yeah.
the best
Do you want me to
place you
send you?
to work. No, so any testimonials. I mean, I think it would almost be its own section on the website somehow, even if it's under about or something along
Yeah,
those
I've
lines.
thought about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I need to.
often you'll see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
I've seen other people do it where they'll have two and three testimonials on different pages through websites, right? But it may well
yeah,
be that
yeah.
you have it sitting under the way it looks like the Wix websites work. Maybe you'd sit it um, under the either under the Meet Juliet or under the mental health first aid on the homepage, and
Mhm.
maybe it would have its own section. I don't know, but testimonials.
Yep.
If you could do you can't do too many, right? Literally, we don't have to do in full. Like they don't have to be paragraphs of things. You could just take a little snippet that just said,
Mhm.
what the key takeaway someone's got, or something along
Mhm.
those lines.
Mm.
But
Mm.
it's more powerful if you have them on the website. If you want
Yep.
to, in the short term, if you have them and you have them in paper form, and that's a bit much on your plate, I am happy if you want to send them to me, and I can do it for you. But as I said, it's probably better they can
Mhm.
also be seen back on the website as well.
Yes. Yep. Okay.
So, because what I
Yeah.
could
I'll just
do
get them
then
together to start
is
with.
I
Yeah.
could create a little Canva little template that just is like a testimonial type one, right? That I post.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and so if it's easiest for you and you're happy and you only and for now um, you feel like you've got other things that are priorities, um, then
Mm. Mm.
send me any testimonials you've got, and as I said, I'll just copy and I'll just do them up as little
Mhm.
social media posts, right? Tiles,
Yep.
and
Okay.
that's fine.
Yep.
So that would be the other thing that if I've got them, then clearly that would sort of on that sort of Friday type post. Um, where other
Yep.
people are
Okay.
saying that you're
Great.
really good. Because I mean, we can say we're really good, but it's always quite
Yep.
good when others are saying we're really good.
Yeah.
So, what I'll get you to
Yeah.
do is
Great.
just add this comment at the bottom of that base camp there.
Yep.
Actually, what you can do is you. Oh no, you don't need to tell me that. I'm going to make a little note in my write up that'll say Juliet will send me some testimonials. But yeah, at the bottom
Yep,
there's the
okay, yeah.
um, so at the bottom there's just the green button, and you can hit at this comment, and then you can go back to whereby I think, and you can probably
Oh, we're
stop
back.
shit. You're back. That's right, and you can probably stop sharing down the bottom if you like.
Oh,
When I waved, I realized it's not long. It's only maybe a second or two slight delay on what comes through.
delay.
So there you go.
Don't know how we ended up with that. I feel like it's caught up a little bit now, but there
Yeah,
definitely was a delay.
yeah, no, that's good. Are you feeling a bit mind fatigued?
Yeah,
All
it's a
good.
bit of a marathon, isn't it? Especially after that Chris break.
Yeah,
Getting my head back in the game.
yeah. So
But
no,
no, that's great. I feel
you've
like we
done
achieved a
really
lot. Lots of things that I don't know how to do myself, that's for sure.
well. The other thing that I do see down the bottom here, and I guess without knowing exactly what they might well be, but you know how you've got at the bottom, it's got my our partners make it happen. You're doing a couple of things with
I
Hobson's
need to
Bay.
get all my logos and stuff together. Yeah, I need to get all my little. That's
So
in addition to my testimonials. I need to get all my people we've worked with.
yeah, yeah. So that partners. So again, and they're the sort of ones you should be connecting and be with as well. But yeah, they're okay. So they're
Yeah,
clearly ones you've done some work with. So it's not necessarily posts in that
yeah,
for me, but it's good to have on your website. Yeah,
no,
that would be great.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah,
Excellent. Well, well done. I'm going to, as I said, I'll do a couple of write ups from those two sessions, and I'll have that to you
yep,
by tomorrow. I'll have, I'll put everything into our Publer and probably do
yep,
first post um, for Monday. So I'll start from Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, and we'll start posting, and
yep. Awesome.
we'll get on with it. And so yeah, I'm really pleased. I
I'll
think
do my homework. I've written my
yeah,
homework down, Steve.
I'll write you a couple little notes of things that
Okay.
yeah, but it's not. I'm not going to be strict in cracking the whip or anything. But yeah, it's most of those little things they are quite beneficial.
Yeah, yeah,
You'll find in the long run that it'll be really good. I mean, as I said, I think what I don't want you to do or feel like you need to do is go out and connect with 1,000 people tonight, sort of thing.
yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
but if you can just think of it, I find it's like one of those things where it's almost like if you're feeling a bit brain dead after a long day and you really want to do something
it's
relatively
good to do
easy,
some mind clicking.
yeah,
Yeah,
just do a little bit of
I
connections.
totally get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
no, it makes so much sense.
And particularly for you, because I think particularly for you on LinkedIn, I think that as
Yeah,
you build your
I can
network,
see that.
you will just you'll fly, I reckon, with this business. You can't not.
Yeah,
I reckon you'll do really well. So I'm
fingers
excited to
crossed.
follow the journey as much as anything. So that'll be good.
Yeah, great. Oh, well, I appreciate all your patience and counsel, that's for sure.
No, it's good stuff.
You have a skill set that I definitely do not have, so
Well, no, but you got through it okay, so it's certainly handy. I'm just happened to be looking at it a lot on most days of the week. So, but no, it was really good. It was good with your two
yeah.
screens and just you have a very good
Yes.
technical skill, so that was handy for me too, which is great. Excellent.
Oh, God, you must come across people who don't know where to click. That would be a nightmare. So
I
hopefully I
do,
wasn't one of
yeah.
those
No, I
people.
have. I've had certain sessions
Oh,
where,
the patience that must be required. I have, I have
yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah. So, and you know what? It's all it. I understand though. It's much easier for me looking at a screen, knowing exactly what button I want people to push. That's one element, but the other, I certainly have had some really tricky ones where, uh, let's just say, even getting them onto Basecamp has taken an hour just to get onto Basecamp in the first instance, and then, and I remember one where we got in there and it was taking us, and each time she'd panic and she'd click cross and she'd lose the whole window again, and we'd be like, so that's the only time when the patience is tested, is that, yeah, but that's okay. Usually we do get there
What
in
do
the
you
end.
do?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
and
Oh
as I
lord.
said,
All
I'm
right.
mindful of that, but I'm also appreciative though when it is pretty straightforward, which was great, which is
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
today was.
yeah.
So that was great.
That's good.
All right.
Alrighty.
Any issues, or as I said, I'll send you a couple of write ups. You'll get them in email, but you'll also know they'll be back in Basecamp.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
you can either
perfect.
reply to them if you've got any concerns next week or whatever. Always feel like you can pick up the phone if you've got any questions. And as I
Yeah,
said, there's quite a
right.
lot that we went through. But yeah, anything you want to give us a call or need a reminder about, just let me know.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sweet. No, that's great, Juliet. It's going to be
Have a
fun.
good afternoon.
Yeah, we'll do.
Oh, fingers crossed.
See ya.
See you later.
Bye.